Coach, 3 days in, first day in shells. Different intensity today. I mean, football's played in pads, so when you start putting on a little bit of padding, I'm sure it changes for the guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're excited. They're excited to get out there and thump a little bit, and it is. It's not football when you don't have pads on. You're 100.
How much easier is it, when you get into a fall camp and you've got a full roster and you're closer to the season, you know who's going to be there when you're, kind of filling out those special teams units and figuring out a role for who's going to do what?
Well, I'll tell you, in the spring, our guys work their tails off, and all you do in spring practice is you build your players' portfolio, right? So each player, you figure out what they can and can't do, and then you reaffirm it right now in our drills that we're doing in special teams, and so we got a really good idea what our guys' skill sets are and where to plug them in, and we got a lot of dudes, man. I mean, a lot of RLDs, real live dudes that are flying around, and we should wreck shop.
Right here in front.
Yep.
Vince Farrar, 99.1, The Sports Animal. Coach Heupel had mentioned that everybody got some special teams rep on one of those units. Can you take us through kind of that process of starting to pare down and who you're going to put in one unit and then getting a look at everybody on special teams?
No, you're a Hundy, because you want to identify everybody's skill set, right? And for our players, what I told them on our first meeting, there might be a starting corner, to receiver. He might play on one, potentially might not play on any of them, right? But when those guys, to build their, to their skill set to go on to the next level to help themselves, what we do is we take every rep that they do in practice and we put them in a folder. So let's say you got a starter that's only played on one, and the scouts come in and they say, well, shoot, man, can he play on kickoff? Can he be on punt? I'll pull up the tape. I'll be like, right here. I mean, this is rated R. You kidding me? So that's what we do to identify those guys. Then it's a puzzle. It's putting guys in the right places, right? Leaving tread on the tires of a lot of starters, and developing young kids, young players, giving them a role. They might get 30 reps in the game. Shoot, that's like being a starter on offense or defense. So there's a formula to it, and it's ever changing too.
Grant, front left. What are you looking for in a return guy? As a punt returner and a kickoff return guy, what are the characteristics? What's that file folder look like for one of those guys?
All right, kickoff return. You don't have to be a real make-you-miss type guy, but you got to be a guy who can run through the doggone smoke. You remember Days of Thunder? You remember when he dropped the hammer and went through the smoke? That's what the video I show him. I mean, that's what kickoff return's like. I mean, you got bodies everywhere, man, and if you're scared, you better call 911. You got to run through the damn smoke. Punt returner, now you look for a fart in a skillet. You look for a fart in a skillet, a guy who can make you miss, a guy one cut, get vertical, that elusive guy. So it's a little bit different. And, punt return, it's not like kickoff. You don't have everybody coming down full bore. I mean, you got windows and you got space and you have levels. So you can be a little more of a guy who's gonna make some cuts from inside out.
Byron Young had a really solid spring practice. I wonder about his first couple of days here in fall camp. Has there been some carryover there?
Well, he's a guy who I think our strength staff, Coach Schmidt and our whole staff did an unbelievable job. He came here at 220 pounds. He's 250 right now. And he's faster, and he's more flexible, and he's a lot more explosive. So he's a guy that keeps on progressing, and he can be as good as he wants to be.
When we first talked to you, you said you wanted a water ski to work. How many times have you been able to do that?
None, because doggone Malibu hasn't called me back yet, man. I got my boat back in Nebraska. I need to get one here.
Some of those other guys at your position with Tyler Barron and Bryce Neeson, how have you seen them kind of from the spring to now? Have you seen them kind of have the summers that you guys were probably hoping they would have?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, Roman Harrison, Tyler, and we already talked about BY. Just a lot of guys. I mean, shoot, it's early. It's the first day of half pads, day 3. So, those guys, they're understanding the system. They're out there. They're a lot more comfortable, which allows them to play a lot faster and allows them to play. We just got to keep playing with better technique and just just getting better every day. But I like what I'm seeing.
With Roman, you guys didn't get a chance to see him in the spring. How important is it this first week or so for you guys to kind of evaluate him and see how you know he goes?
Yeah, he's a guy who's extremely explosive, and he's just got that. He's country strong. I mean, he got that. Just some great strength to him and great fast twitch. So it's just getting him out there and getting him used to the defense, and so it's a work in progress.
Coach, has time for one more. All right, great, thank you.
Hey, appreciate it, guys.